descent, coming from Central America, Panama, and from a region that gets very much affected by climate change for Central America, issues of flooding, issues of the change within the climate, issues of poverty, issue of large migration from the region to the United States and other parts of the world. Climate change becomes very important to me because when you have to move to begin with from one place to the other, it's called forced migration in that particular situation. And when you look at the rest of the global south, the different regions, you look, for instance, of the Caribbean, small islands, and the Pacific, where there's a rise of the sea, and you know that that people might disappear one day. People that are your family, be the Caribbean, be the Pacific. You must be concerned about climate change because you're talking about life and death. You're talking about human beings. You're talking about the present, the future. You're talking about our grandchildren and great-grandchildren, maybe not having, a land. That then, from that perspective, create concerns, and why then we must look at climate justice. We must also call on government, and particularly our own government of the United States, to look at mitigation and to fund international adaptation in terms of addressing the issue. Many might ask, but why should the United States have to do this? Well, the industrialized nations, the so-called development nations, they have a lot to do also with climate change. It's man-made in most instances, where you have, for instance, emissions that are in the air and that is created by many of the multinationals, many of the industries, and not only in the global south, but also many times in our own communities in the United States. We could look at Katrina, what happened in that situation. So yes, for me it was very important as someone who worked with my own communities and someone who's from a region that is very much affected, and at the same time someone who works with indigenous peoples and have gone to those communities in the global south and see how they are very much, they all are affected by the change of the climate. And what it has done also is that it has created intense poverty among our people, and particularly women and children are affected. And it's moving people from one place to the other. It then says to me and to our own people that we need to have our voices be heard also. We needed to be here in Copenhagen. And just as the environmental world and other people from around the world have seen the importance, I am also seeing it very important. And particularly because I also work for an organization, United Methodist Women, that is very much concerned about social justice, about climate justice. And it's an issue where we have decided that we had to follow up with. We are very much concerned about women's, children, and youth. And therefore, the voices also must be heard. The voice of the voiceless that we knew cannot make it to Copenhagen. I am very happy that I came because it's very few of us that are here, and that President Obama is going to be here. But we also hope that when he comes, that he comes with a very strong voice, a strong, I'm not sure if to say mandate, because we still have the Senate that has not really made the decision in terms of a strong position and strong recommendations. But we will hope that President Obama understands, because he has been around the world. We have written to him, many of us, and shared information. And that when he comes here, he gives people hope. Hope that, yes, they will have a strong legal agreement for him to understand what the Kyoto Protocol means. That protects, for so many years it was negotiated. The U.S. has never signed on, but the U.S. needs to sign on behalf of not only the peoples of the world, of the United States also, because climate change will affect and is affecting everyone. So I think that I also have a responsibility when I go back, not only to United Methodist Women, but also to our communities, people of African descent, that might not be organized the way that we are organized, to understand the issue and for them to know that we also must get involved. We want for our environment to be a healthy one. Many of our folks suffer, for instance, the problem of asthma and don't understand that it very much have to do with many of the atmospheric air that we are breathing, for instance. Our health, it's very important for us. So it's not looking at the environment from the perspective of only concern about the birds, even though it should be of concern for us also. We're talking about human life, human beings. So we have double responsibility, and that to make the proper process to educate our communities, not only in the scientific level, which becomes very complicated, all of the terminologies that our people might not understand, but we have to break it down. We have to do the ABC of climate change. So that's my responsibility as a citizen of the world concerned about our people in the world. I did not give you my name. I am Esmerelda Brown, and I do global justice for the United Methodist Office at the United